Hey, it's Bob Francis from Go Full Throttle Racing News. Welcome to this edition of Motorsports Nation. Joining me today, Jerry Jordan from Kickin the Tires. We've been hanging out in the media center for a few years now, doing what we do, trying to cover motorsports and bring you the latest stories. Excited to have Jerry on Motorsports Nation for this preview show of Las Vegas. So, Jerry, let's go back 1 week, the ROVAL. Any surprises? What were your takeaways from that race before we get to Las Vegas and the round of 8? How did you see the ROVAL, and were there advances that you were not expecting? Who made it and didn't make it?
I have a couple of takeaways, but it may not be because of who didn't make it. He was already out. I would have loved to have seen Shane Van Gisbergen be in that round and be able to advance with that win, because look, anything can happen. Vegas, you've got to win this race because it's so important. But if he would have won, if he'd have been in the round and he'd have won that race, anything can happen at Talladega, anything can happen at Martinsville. So SVG literally could have gone to the Final Four at Phoenix if there's a mathematical possibility that he could have made it past.
Right.
So that one kind of bummed me out that he got knocked out in the previous round. The one that I'm really shocked that Joey made it.
Yeah.
And and again, he made it on luck. The same thing. Look, Joey's got talent, and I get it, and he is an existential threat to win this championship because he could win this weekend. He can win in Phoenix. He can win at Talladega.
Right.
Probably not so much at Martinsville, but the guy's a good driver. He's the biggest threat coming out of the ROVAL, in my opinion, to win the championship. And I'm shocked that I'm shocked that he made it. B, I'm shocked that other drivers let it happen. And like Denny said, you can read between the lines on Denny. Look, if I'd have known that Ross was needed one spot, I don't know what I would have done, but I'd have liked to have had the opportunity to make that decision in the car. Maybe I'd drive Joey a little harder and let Ross get away a little bit,
Yeah. There was
But
that sense of sort of deja vu all over again, thinking back to last year, and it was, Joey telling the story. He's sitting at dinner Sunday night, and when the Bowman car fails post-race inspection, he finds out he's in, and then we know what happens. That lit the fuse. They all of a sudden were on fire and took care of business and won the championship. So there's a little bit of deja vu. So I think you're spot on. Look out this weekend at Las Vegas, because Talladega, never know what's going to happen in a super speedway race. Joey hasn't really been a threat at Martinsville. Not consistently anyway. So this is really the scenario that plays out best for him. So Denny's comments did not surprise me in the least.
I want nothing more this year than to see Denny Hamlin become the champion in the NASCAR Cup Series. There are so many reasons why, but Denny has worked hard, and this would be just epic to see Denny go on and win.
Yeah, for a few other reasons, our AI prediction model picked Denny to go all the way and win the championship. So I would love to have that additional validation of our algorithms. And also in my bracket challenge, I've got Hamlin going all the way. So I would love to see that as well. We know the storylines that would produce. That's going to be great stuff.
Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of where I'm coming from with that. I mean, look, Denny's involved in a lawsuit with NASCAR over charters and championships and payments and all of this and TV deals. What better way to have a storyline aside from the lawsuit than Denny winning the championship going into the off season? I mean,
Be
Denny
great.
winning the champ, it's great. The representative of NASCAR is the same guy they're in federal court with. There's so much irony, there's so much fun there. That
Right.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. But honestly, in the grand scheme of things, any one of the 8 could win it right now.
That's right. And we're going to talk about the playoff format coming back after this break.
The Honor and Remember flag is a nationally recognized symbol that sends a message of appreciation for the sacrifice made by our fallen heroes and their families. The flag flies at many NASCAR races around the country, and you can help honor our nation's fallen military members and remember the eternal sacrifice of their service by flying the flag too. Text FLAG to 71777 or visit honorandremember.org to learn more. Together, we remember them all.
Message and data rates may apply.
Welcome back to Motorsports Nation. I'm here with Jerry Jordan from Kickin the Tires. We're talking preview of Las Vegas, the playoff race coming up this weekend. And Jerry, speaking of playoffs, we don't really know. There's all these rumors out there. It might be this, there might be that change, there might be this change. I personally am hoping for some minor change. Like in my world, I think a win should be worth more points. But I know there's a couple of different scenarios out there. What I'm not a fan of, and I'm curious to get your take, is I really don't think it's good for the sport. It's not good for journalism. It's not good for ticket sales. It's not good for eyeballs on TV screens, the core metrics that NASCAR wants to score the most with. If we have a scenario back in the old point system where the champion could be determined 2 races before the end of the season, I think that's a step backwards. But there's all these different theories of what might happen out there. How do you see it, Jerry? What do you think is going to happen with the playoff format?
So I'm in a little different camp and probably not popular with either side of this argument. I like a 36 race format. That's what I grew up watching on NASCAR, and my mom and my sister who got me into this sport to begin with, that's what they liked. I get where the excitement of the playoffs, you're in the playoffs and you're in the Final Four, and I get that. And we want to be more like stick and ball sports, but we're not a stick and ball sport. As much as everyone wants to say we're a stick and ball sport, we're not a stick and ball sport. We shouldn't go into Daytona, and I do it every year. I think I'm probably one of the ones that asks the question every year. Hey, you just won the Daytona 500. Oh yeah, and you're in the playoffs. What do you think about that? No, we should be focusing on winning the biggest race of the year, which kicks our season off and sets the tone for the entire rest of 35 races after that. And that's where I look at it. Is there a hybrid somewhere in there that would work? It definitely needs to be where it's not one race. I mean, because look, you don't even have to win that race. Literally every driver in the Final Four could wreck out, okay? Their engine could blow up. They could all end up in the garage on lap 1, and we've got a champion. That's where like I said, it's never happened, but it could. And that's where I think you lose some of the gusto of what they wanted to do. It makes for good storylines and good battles there. But think about it. This is probably the only race we're really talking about that's not a cutoff race where, they're coming into Vegas because of the other two are so much of a coin flip of who could win. But you have to do well in this round in order to you have a chance to advance if you're in the final, if you're in the round of 8 or whatever. That's not so much said for the first, 6 races of the playoffs. I mean, you want to do well in one of those tracks, and there's a few that we talk about more than others, but we're not talking about a champion. We're just talking about advancing to the playoffs and the cutoff race. And I think that hurts. I think that hurts content. It hurts. The fans don't like it. A lot of the fans don't like it. There's got to be some better method than one race where, like I said, in theory, everybody could blow up on the first lap or piling in the wall, go to the garage, and we have a champion. And then we run however many laps, 300 some odd laps at Phoenix, and Noah Gragson, love him to death. He wins the race, but he's not in the championship. He's not,
Right. Yeah.
No beef towards you, Noah. I'm giving you free publicity. I'm just saying, I want to see you win a race.
It's great. We all remember the recent events where it was so exciting to see Christopher Bell make the Final Four, but then there was the brake failure and he was out of the race on lap 4 or something?
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Jerry. I hope that we find a hybrid model that solves a number of these known issues with the playoff system. And we'll have a lot of great content, I assume, during the off season when NASCAR rolls out that and makes that announcement of whatever changes are coming. Can't wait to have you back on and we can beat that one up a little bit more and see where they land and what that's going to mean both for us in the media in terms of storylines and covering the season, and also from the fans' perspective. Looking
Hey,
forward to that.
I'm always here. You can call me anytime. As you know, at 2 a.m., I'll respond.
That's right. I love it. Okay, well, it is Las Vegas weekend. We talked a little bit about who surprised us making the round of 8. Now let's sort of put our prediction hat on. This is, of course, recorded ahead of practice and qualifying. But who do you see as an early favorite going in? I've looked at all the stats our models have run all week long. For us at Go Full Throttle in our prediction model, of course, Kyle Larson enters the weekend as the favorite statistically. But we all know that Vegas is famous. Nobody had Josh Berry winning this race in the spring. So I'm curious to hear from Jerry's perspective. How does he see this playing out here on Sunday? At least your
Uh,
early view before we've got practice and qualifying data.
we said it a while ago. Joey's got what, like 3 wins here or something? I mean, he knows how to get around the track. And it's not just Joey. Okay. Look, let's not just put it all on Joey Logano. Paul Wolf is a beast on the box. Okay. He's got a notebook this thick. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Gigs of data, terabytes of data probably that he can, in his brain can come up with of why Joey Logano will have every opportunity to win this race and advance to the Final Four. That's who I would fear. That's who Denny Hamlin's afraid of.
Right.
Okay, he has much said it. I think he did say it on his podcast. Another one's Ryan Blaney. Okay, and obviously you've got William Byron, and you've got Kyle Larson and Hamlin himself. But when you break it down, we've had 5 championships at Phoenix. Okay, every one of them has been won by a Penske driver or a Hendrick driver. So it's hard not to pick one of those teams. Personally, I'd like to see Denny win the championship. I'd like to see Denny win this race here at Las Vegas. I don't know his record off the top of my head. I don't remember where he's been running when he was out here. Because of the storyline, I'd love for him to lock into the Final Four this first race. But I still think it's probably going to be Joey Logano who wins on Sunday.
Okay.
I mean, I'd go down. I'm at the South Point right now. This is Brendan Gaughan's wonderful South Point Hotel and Casino. A plug for them because they're awesome. And if you're going to come to Vegas, stay here because it's where all the racers stay. But I may go down the sports book and put my $5 on Joey Logano, who is obviously a favorite when you walk down there and you look at the odds.
Right. Well, I'm gonna rerun the models Saturday night after we get practice and qualifying data. Right now, from a data standpoint, Larson's the favorite going in, but I agree with you. There's a lot of variability in that. A lot of things could happen. I guess I'll end the segment, Jerry, on the driver that I am sort of surprised about after sitting at the front of the pack and stacking up so many points early in the season is William Byron. He has been so inconsistent. There has been some great races here in the playoffs where he's been up front, shown strength, but then not had the finish. But he was sitting on so many points going into the playoff system. He's okay. He makes it in, has a strong enough finish to get in the round of 8, but I think he's used up all the mulligans. I think the point differential now really is gone, and he's going to have to deliver. And I haven't seen the consistency the last few races that really gives a lot of assurance that Byron can be up front this week.
Yeah, it'll be tough. I mean, but again, that whole Hendrick pack's going to stick together. You've got 3 drivers there that are in the playoffs here. They're still in the playoffs and they're trying to advance. That whole Hendrick organization is going to do whatever they can. They'd love to go into Phoenix with all 3 of their drivers, going up against, a Toyota. This thing would be like Chase, and no knock to Chase Briscoe. Okay. But the best thing for Hendrick Motorsports would be for Larson, Byron, and Chase Elliott to all go into Phoenix against Chase Briscoe because they've got him on experience, and they're gonna try to. I can just see the teamwork playing out.
Right. Well, that's why we run the race. It's going to be exciting to see what happens coming out of Vegas and the rest of the round of 8. Who makes the Final Four? For Motorsports Nation fans, we'll be doing a show from the track Saturday afternoon after Cup practice and qualifying. So we'll have an interview with the pole winner, and we'll see how the data changes the predictions for who we think is going to win on Sunday. For those of you playing NASCAR Fantasy, we'll be able to deliver the latest and greatest analysis of the data for Sunday morning when you make your final picks for fantasy racing. Or those of you staying at the South Point with Jerry, to stop by the sports book and drop a few dollars at the betting window. Jerry, thanks for being with us. How can Motorsports Nation fans find you, Kickin the Tires, and all the great content you guys deliver?
Well, my personal Twitter account is kind of what's in the bottom of the screen. You just put an @ sign in front of it. It's the same thing with Facebook and Instagram and X and all of it. TikTok, I think I'm on there occasionally. For Kickin the Tires, it's @ Kickin the Tires on all platforms. So I'm really easy to find.
Fantastic. Jerry, thanks for being on the show. I'll see you in a few hours in Las Vegas in the media center as we kick off the weekend. Have fun in the meantime with Brendan there at the South Point. And Motorsports Nation fans, we'll see you from the track on Saturday with our follow-up episode after practice and qualifying.